Hi everyone, welcome in. This is Julie Maxon, the Maine Stamper. Welcome to your weekly card class from Maine. I'm so happy to have you join me. Please say hi when you jump on. I'd love to know that my tech is working, that my mic is working, that everything's working, right? You never know what's going to happen when you go live. And we are live for some really amazing card making tonight. I want to show you a peek at the cards. Look at how pretty. Flowery cards, hearts and flowers. We've got some gorgeous, gorgeous cards with the Two-Tone Flora Bundle. And this is a really fun one. Of course, flowers are always perfect for a lot of card making, right? We love the flowers. This is two-tone, which means you're doing two-step stamping. There's a lot of two-step in this stamp set. We're going to go over what stamps go with what, because it looks like it could be a little bit confusing. I know some of you guys are smarty pants out there. You got it all figured out, but it took me a minute to look at the stamp set, figure out how the stamps align, which two go together, and all of that good stuff. And I have a nice little cheat chart that I'm going to show you for this bundle as well. We're going to talk about how the dies work with this bundle. It's a beautiful bundle. I really, really have enjoyed playing with it a little bit here. So this is going to obviously be the focus of my weekly card class. Hi, Jess. Okay, now I know I'm live, so that's good. Thank you for saying hi. This is the weekly card class, Two-Tone Flora. And I'm also featuring this bundle in my February Card Maker Collective Club. So what that means is if you are interested in getting the card kits for February for the month, it's a big package. You're getting designer paper, ribbons, embellishments, and 8 card kits, so 2 each of 4 designs. You'll get private videos for those. I don't put those on Facebook or YouTube. Those are just private videos for our card club. So let me know. You can sign up for that by February 15th. Kits mail on the 25th of the month. And if you need more information, please let me know. But the Two-Tone Flora is going to continue into February for me. And I'm going to have a lot of bonus cards because this is my big bundle of the month. And I'm also offering this bundle at a discount if you'd like to get it with the February Card Maker Collective Club. You basically pay catalog price. So you're skipping the shipping and you're skipping the tax. And it comes with your kit in the mail, which is really amazing. So let's get over to my workspace because we've got some stuff to talk about and we'll check out those cards a little bit more. So speaking of card kits, this is what you're getting with your weekly class. Now, this is the weekly class where I'm going to show you how to create these gorgeous cards, just like here. You can see all 3 cards right here. So you would get 2 each of these with your order with me this week with your host code. And this is what your card kits look like when you get them in the mail. You're also going to get a nice little printout, but look how fat these envelopes are. Like, there's a lot of stuff in here. Now, of course, there's two card bases. There's an extra envelope, but all the parts and pieces, these are not really simple cards. These are like pretty complex. There's some things that go on here, but they're also really easy to create. And if you don't have the Two-Tone Flora, you can substitute in any flowers that you do have, and you've got your card bases, you've got all these little elements and card pieces cut up, embossed for you, all of that good stuff. So this is what we are working with tonight. But before we get into that, I also want to mention, with your order of $35, you get the card kits. With your order of $50 or more, I'm throwing in the 2022-2024 in color matte decorative dots. That's a really long name, but we are going to be using these on our cards tonight. We actually have used them on this one. I used the Tahitian Tide on my little flowers up there at the top. On this one, I used the Orchid Oasis. And on this card, I've actually got the Sweet Sorbet. So these are the in colors. There's also Parakeet Party in here, and there is Starry Sky. So you're getting the in colors on these. There's, we'll talk about those a little bit as we go through, but those are some really nice little embellishments you can get to add to these cards, and of course you're gonna have extra as well. So the Two-Tone Flora Bundle. Of course, we're starting with a stamp set. Now, this stamp set does not have any sentiments in it, so you're going to be using sentiments from all kinds of different stamp sets. I'm actually using 2 different stamp sets tonight when I get my cards created, because again, this is just flowers and leaves. Really simple, right? And you can see here, actually, I pretty much have everything mounted up. I have very few left. I think there's 3 stamps left in here. So your photopolymer stamps, these are your clear ones, right? They're going to come back in here when you're done, and they're going to sit right in the same spot that has the outline picture of the like stamp, so that you know everything's in there, you know which is which. Now this is also kind of like your key. This is your key to what goes with what. So this flower right here is a background flower, and this flower right here is the detail. So these two go together, and they're next to each other in the set, so it's kind of easy to figure that out. These two go together right here. These two will go together here. I love that they've got them next to each other. These two together, these two together, and these two right here. And then you have a couple of leaves, and you have a little center one that works best with this flower, which I've discovered because I've been playing with this a little bit. Likewise, you have dies. Now these dies look kind of boring, right? These are all the outline dies for your stamps, and we'll talk about those in a second, but check out this one. This is a really big background detailed die, right? And I did die cut a little bit with this, and I wanted to just let you know. This is just one pass through my die cutting machine, and it came out, and it didn't die cut all the way. Some of these right here are not all the way cut, so I can't actually get this out. I can put my die back on, and I will, and I'll line it up and put it back through again. But what I want to point out is it should look like this. It should die cut so much of your paper. Now this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece, so it takes up a whole card front. Let's pretend this is our card front. It's the whole card front right here. Oh, and look how pretty it is on the blue. I love it. Okay, back to this. All right, so this is very intricate. I'm going to recommend you run it through your machine. I actually went back and forth twice, so 4 full passes through the big cutting machine, because then you're going to get all of those little parts and pieces out. You're also still going to need your little scrubber brush to scrub out all the little parts and pieces, because there's a lot of little pieces here. Now there's a couple of really awesome things. We're not actually featuring this in my card tonight, but this will be featured in the monthly kits, probably some of my bonus cards. There is a good amount here that you can glue down. There's enough here that it's the only section that's really going to be thin is up here at the top on both sides, but otherwise you can glue this down, not a problem. The other thing I wanted to point out is that you can actually you can bring in your scissors and you can cut out, snip out sections of this. You can cut out a few of these flowers. You can cut out some of the leaves. So you can actually take this apart a little bit and have some very lacy, delicate dies, because this die right here, all of these dies, the rest of the dies in the set are just outline dies. So you've got the large one here, which is going to do your big flower, and you've got a medium one here for this flower, and then you've got all of these different dies. So there's a die for every flower that's in the set. And it's just a matter of, these aren't quite to size, finding all of the ones that go together. Then we've got the little four flowers that go together. And then we have the leaves. We have the larger sprig, and then we have the pair of leaves right here. So you can see that everything would have a die on it, and also has one that fits inside. Now these vary just slightly in size for some of these dies, which also takes you a minute to figure out, okay, which one goes with which. Leaves are very easy. The 4 flower is very easy, the 4 little set of minis. The smallest one is easy. There's 2 that are kind of medium in size, and there's one that's the largest and one that's the medium large. And I have a little cheat sheet because I felt like, you know, sometimes you need a cheat sheet. So this is what I recommend you do if you have something like this, and I'll lift this up so you can see. I suggest you just stamp it on some scrap paper and then take some notes. So this is the largest flower, and I'm calling this medium large. So it's just a little bit smaller. Also, they look different. You can see that there's different ways that they kind of orient themselves. The medium one is more kind of like a tulip, and then the medium small one is more like maybe a pansy face, right? So they're oriented a little bit different. This one's kind of facing up. This one's more looking flat down, and it has that classic outline of a flower. The small one is so cute. It might be my favorite. And then the minis right here are gorgeous, and when you die cut them, they come out in a cluster. So they come out all together. They don't individually cut apart, but you could get your paper snips out and snip them apart if you wanted to. So these are just samples. I was playing with colors, and I wanted to know large, medium, medium, small, small, and then I'm calling this the mini 4. So then when I look at my dies, if you're familiar with them, if you name them, you're gonna know them. It's just like having chickens. I have a lot of chickens. They all have names. I look at them, I can figure out who's who, right? So if you name your little stamps, just like I name my chickens, you'll probably be able to figure it out a lot easier. So that's just a fun fact about some of this Two-Tone Flora Bundle. And I was having a lot of fun playing with it. So we're gonna get going on our first card today. We're gonna work on this one first. And I always kind of dissect your card kit with you. So you're gonna see if you order these, if you order with me this week, you're gonna see what you're getting. So you're getting 2 envelopes. I did get a base ready for myself for later on. So I'm kind of cheating that way. And you're going to get 2 of the thick white bases, which I don't need one right now. We have a white layer. Why do I have a white layer in here? I don't feel like I need this white layer. That's kind of funny. Must have misread my directions. You have this layer, and this is die cut. This is this part of the card right here, so you can see that it's die cut. And I die cut that with the basic borders die. So I took this die right here, and I'm die cutting that for you. So you're going to get 2 die cuts for your cards. You're going to get some designer series paper. This is the Starry Sky. Really pretty. I love these colors, this blue and white. On the back side, you're going to see where this paper comes from. Everyone's talking about the very popular Sale-A-Bration freebie Dainty Delight. This is actually in the Dainty Delight pack. So everyone's always talking about, oh my goodness, the beautiful flowers in the Dainty Delight, right? Beautiful flowers. You're seeing these patterns probably everywhere. Maybe you're sick of seeing these patterns everywhere. I mean, they're gorgeous, but you know, there's a lot going on with them right now. I am actually looking at the back side right now. The side that's not the dainty flowers, but has just the full colors and the different patterns. And that's where I pulled this blue paper from. And then you've got this really interesting little cut right here. I'm looking around. I don't see my punch, so I might have misplaced it. Oh, nope, here it is. This is a new punch that's in the mini catalog. It's one of those fun little pick a banner type ones where you can put in 3 different size papers. So you're getting this already punched when this comes to you. And you've got some beautiful ribbon here. This is actually the orchid ribbon. All right, so I think I've got everything, and we're gonna just, oh, I know what this is for. Back up the boat. Remember when I was like, why do I have this white cardstock in here? I am giving you some pretty good sized sheets so that you can play with flowers. That's what that's for. We're going to actually stamp on these because I want to show you the stamping for this card. So I'm using Pear Pizzazz, Starry Sky, and Orchid Oasis. Now these 2 are the in colors that just came out last year, and of course they're really popular. I just love these colors. And I'm going to bring in some of my stamps. Now I have them double parked. I have double parking right now. I have both of these, the outline and the detailed one, on one block for all of them. And my method is this, because there's so many stamps, and if I took them all off my sheet, I'm going to be like, which one goes with which one? So by double parking them on the same block, I'm going to know which 2 go together, because I have all of them mounted. As you might have seen my case earlier, I have all of them mounted. My suggestion is to have just a regular block on standby that you can unmount one and keep working, but you're going to know that these 2 go together, these 2 go together, so on and so forth. So it's just a really good way to do that. They are the photopolymer, and to be honest, I kind of have been sneaking some through and just kind of winging my stamping, basically. So we're going to start, I think I've got the biggest one here. This is the large one, as we noted earlier, large, and I re-inked all of my ink pads earlier today because I said, wow, beautiful already, right? I just could not believe how dry my ink pads were. I'm thinking the heat from heating is just causing a lot of dryness right now. So we are going to do the large and the medium large. So I've got both of those on there, and then we're going to do the medium also. So these are the stamps that we're starting with, just like that. So we're just doing the background in the Orchid Oasis. Let me close this one up. We're going to move on to Starry Sky. So just like in my sampler where I showed you how to, and I can't remember where it went already. I had a sampler here. It was beautiful. You saw it earlier, right? If you didn't, you're going to need to rewind this video because it's really beautiful. All right, so my little sampler had all the detailed ones in darker colors, so I like to do the lighter first and then darker. All right, so this one is my detail one, and I'm going to put it in here. Now I can either try to line this up because I can kind of see through there, or like I said earlier, you can take this one off, park it on another block for a few minutes, and you're basically lining these up, and you're going to kind of turn it and find the right angle. And here is the detail on this one. So the detail in the middle, you can kind of see how it forms a cup. Once you kind of know how they go together, it just really is perfect and beautiful. And I'm going to repark my 2 stamps together, and we're going to move on to the medium one. So this is the medium one. medium large, medium large. I already forgot my names here. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna kind of turn this around until we feel like we're probably pretty good. Now this one right here, I did notice this little tip. See this little white spot right in the middle? There's actually a spot right on the middle of this stamp. If you line those up, you're gonna keep that little white in the middle. And let me show you. So see that little white and still in the middle. You've got all the great detail all the way around it. So that's a little tip on that one. I'm just going to put this one back together. And I'm keeping my blocks straight up and down like this. They're probably a little bit off camera, but I'm keeping them like this rather than putting them down flat. These blocks are really nice because they stand up like that, so you can set them on their sides, especially when you've got double parking stamps. I'm going to make that a thing. Double parking your stamps. All right, we're doing the same thing one more time. We're going to just kind of come in here and find how that beautifully lines up. Are those not the most gorgeous flowers? Because I just love these colors together. I mean, two-step stamping really is also kind of magical. And then we're going to do a little bit of the leaves right here in, what color did I say I had? Pear Pizzazz, I believe. Yep, Pear Pizzazz. All right, so on your paper that you're going to get at home, this is what you're making. Now, if you have this bundle, this is what you're making. If you don't have this bundle and you're using other stamps, you're using this white paper to create really super gorgeous flowers. I just love these colors together. All right, I'm going to do a quick clean real quick here. Let me get out my little... All right, excuse my arm reaching. Try to get all the ink off of here that I can. We're going to be using these quite a bit tonight, so I want to make sure we're cleaned up. And this one is no longer double parked. Let's put this one back together. Okay. And I think one more and we're good. And the chamois is nice because it's also getting the ink off of my blocks, which is great. I have the inkiest fingers today. All right, so I am not actually going to die cut these right now because, again, I want to try to make these videos a little bit shorter for you guys. So I already have them die cut. So let's pretend we put them through the machine and this is what we've got. We've got our beautiful die cuts. So now we can just put our card together. Now this, of course, right, we're opening it this way. So it's a landscape card. And we're just going to take our designer series paper first. And we're going to put this on. This is a really awesome little kind of card sketch idea. Now this paper is going to go top to bottom here. So it is 4 1/4 tall, right? So it's going to be just like this on your card. I'm leaving a little bit of white here on the side just because I think it looks nice. And then we're going to bring in this piece, but we're going to put this on with dimensionals. So we're lifting this up, which actually gives it a lot of character. It almost looks like it could be a fun fold when you see it in person, which is really fun because it's not a fun fold, but it just has that, extra little oomph to it. And I'm going to just throw a few of these on here, maybe one more. Be a little bit more generous with those because we've got quite a bit of surface to cover here. Now once these come off, this is going on to the full size. It's the full height of the card. So I want to line it up here on the end and get it maybe top and bottom even. And then it's going to come across and it's going to cover up a little bit of my designer paper, and that is by design, right? So it's on here, it's just perfect, just like that. And now we're just going to decorate. Super easy. We're going to bring in, oh, we've got our cute little tag. We've got to put this down first. So hopefully you can see this cute little tag here. And this is in the Starry Sky. We're just going to put this here, kind of coming this way across. And it's got just a little bit of a ruffle on the edge. You can see it more against the white here, kind of mimicking all of our little ruffles. Let's do our hello stamp. Now I did mention, right, that we don't have any sentiments in the Two-Tone Flora. So I'm using Artistically Inked because I like a nice hello and I like a nice thanks. This is also great for best wishes, happy birthday. So I just kind of picked something that was pretty generic. I like to make my cards pretty generic, unless I have like a really specific person in mind that I'm sending them to. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink up the hello. Ooh, that didn't work out well. It's kind of splotchy. Looks like I was running here with it. We're going to do that again. Much better. That's a much better hello. Okay, happier with that one. And we're going to just come in here with the snips and we're going to trim this slightly at an angle. And we're going to put this on our card just right here. And I try to give you guys longer sentiment pieces in case you have a longer sentiment. Maybe you have more than 5-letter hello right there. How cool is this already? Like, love it. All right, we're going to start bringing in our little elements here. And we're going to put our greens down first. These are just going to go down flat with glue. One up and one down. We're making a nice little flower arrangement. Whenever we're working with paper flowers, we are like florists. So think of yourself as a florist, making it so pretty. All right, so as mentioned, we have the extra large, the medium large, and one of the mediums. So I'm just going to kind of lay these out here for just a second and play with them a little bit and see how I like them to go down on here. Now, I obviously don't want to cover up my hello, but I want my grouping to be kind of consistent. And I think that looks really good right there. So I'm just going to pop some glue there and put this guy back down. This is always the trickiest part because you pick it up and you put it down thinking it's going to be exactly where you want it, and it never lands in the exact space ever more, which is nice, right? Because we're making very unique cards then. They're very individualized. So I'm just kind of doing my little cluster here of 3 flowers. So just like that, we've got our flowers on there, and we're going to take one of these beautiful ribbons. This has like glitter in it too, which is awesome. Now, if you had a Wink of Stella, this would be a really great card to add a little bit of Wink of Stella to as well, to make your flowers a little bit more shimmery. So I'm just going to use a glue dot here for my little my bow. So I'm just kind of adding it in here on the corner, kind of above the sentiment. And I just like how it kind of flows just like right about there. That's really beautiful. That came out nicely. And then I'm going to bring in my my little embellishments here, which I stuffed back in the package, which is always tricky to do. And here we go. Here's my embellishments. So we're going to add some more of these on too. I think I'm going to add the darker ones this time. I meant the lighter ones. So this is the difference between Starry Sky and Orchid. So very, very lightly. But I want you to see also there's different shades. There's like, on this side they start lighter and they go darker as they go off to the side over here. So you actually have different shades of these really awesome little embellishments. So I'm going to just put some of these, and these little tiny ones, oh my goodness, talk about adorableness. I'm going to put a couple of the teeny tiny ones up here too. And there we go, card number 1, just like that. Ooh, I don't know which embellishment I prefer. They're both so pretty, but this is a really beautiful card. And of course, this would be a really great birthday card too. You know, thinking of you cards, all of the things that we like to make cards for, right? So that's card number 1. Let me move aside some of my parts and pieces. We're going to jump right into our very next card. All right, that is our hello card. I hope you enjoyed the hello. All right, we're going to come on to the next card here. This is going to be the thanks card. I'm just going to check in real quickly. Hi, Patty. Oh, Elisa's on too. That's awesome. Okay, just checking messages real quick. I usually get into these cards and then I'm in the zone. I'm crafting, I'm talking. It's like we're hanging out together. Here's your next card kit. So again, we're going to kind of go through all the things that are in here. So again, you're getting 2 of each. And I did up myself a nice little base earlier so that I don't have to score. Trying to cut those corners a little bit. All right, so let's see what we got going on in this card kit. We have our base, we have a white layer, and then we've got really awesome designer series paper. A little busy right there, but we've got some really cool vellum. This one has little polka dots in it. And then strips of paper, all kinds of strips of paper. We're going to stamp on this one. And we're going to stamp on that one. And then this is the rest of my kit. So let me move that over. So again, we're going to use the sentiment, a sentiment from Artistically Inked. This is the thanks sentiment. And I wanted something big and bold to come across the top here. Do you not feel tropical when you look at this card? It's almost like a summery time vibe. I must have been feeling really summery this time when I was like getting ready to create this card, because I was like, oh my goodness, I am feeling the summertime. All right, let me grab out my stamps that we're going to be using for this one. And we're going to be using the mini. So this is the smallest stamp. We are repeating that quite a few times. So that's going to be really fun. And I need to get out lots of ink for this one. We're going to be using Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, and Daffodil Delight for the flowers. We're going to be using Granny Apple on Granny Apple cardstock for the leaves. And then we're going to stamp our thanks here in the Tahitian Tide. So what I'm going to do, this is how I figured out where I was going to put my thanks. So when I know my card design is going to look like this, and this layer is going to kind of come on right about here, I know that I have this much room right here to do my thanks. And I'd rather stamp this before I glue everything down, because what if I glue everything down and decorate it and then my thanks turns out terrible? I would be so upset. I mean, there's always workarounds, right? But I'm going to just go ahead and kind of hold this in place, and I'm going to put my thanks right up here, knowing that it's going to fit there pretty well. I'm going to hold that down just for a second, let the ink absorb into my paper, and beautiful. Again, this is one that I re-inked earlier, so you can see the difference between before inking and after. Oh, I wanted to show you, like, this is how light my inks were. I was trying to create some extra flowers, and I could barely get these are stamped off versions, so, but they were very light. So we're gonna see this card that I'm going to create with you right now may end up being a lot darker, because I did redo all of my ink pads. I had a lot. I was re-inking heavily today. All right, we're going to go ahead and just kind of put these together before we do our flower stamping, so you can kind of see how these layers fit on this card. So our white is going to go in here. Now we're going to open our card really quickly, make sure it's going in the right direction before we put this on, because otherwise our thanks would be upside down on the bottom of the card. All right, so we've just got that nice 4 by 5 1/4 layer right there. Now we're going to put on our designer series paper, and this is going to fit across this way. Now if you did it this way, you're going to see that the dimensions are slightly off. We want it to go across here and create that nice mat on the bottom. And we are not using this paper. I used this paper on a different card recently, and of course it's very bold. So there we go, just like that. So pretty, right? All right, now we're going to do some tricks with vellum. Now this vellum, oh my gosh, this vellum is gorgeous. If you guys haven't seen it, it's in the mini catalog. There's polka dots, there's leaves. Man, I don't know if you can even see it. And there's stripies. So take my word for it. It is really fun vellum. It's way better than the boring vellum that you normally, you know, use. Not that vellum is boring, but this has like really cool patterns to it. So basically I'm going to just put some adhesive here along the top. Now normally we don't want to put adhesive on our vellum where it's going to show. So I'm just going to pop this on here, and I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to put that on there right about there. Now this vellum is not the same length, but it is the same width for my card. And if you can, I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but right here is where I have the tape, and it's so dark. This one's actually laying down. This one did not lay down nicely at all. Now to hide my vellum and to hold it down, I'm actually going to use these strips of cardstock, and they serve a purpose besides holding down. This top one right here is a nice space for me to pop my little flowers on. You can just see a little bit of the blue popping underneath of it. So this is going to be where we're going to put our flowers. And at the bottom, now it's starting to pop up a little bit. Now we've got that little bit of like a flyaway vellum kind of a situation, which is what I was trying to avoid. So instead of, because I can't put anything down there that I'm going to glue, I'm not putting any flowers down there to hide anything. So I decided to bring in another strip of the Tahitian Tide cardstock, and we're just putting it right down here at the bottom, and we're locking our vellum into place. So our vellum is polka dots behind the stripies, and because we can't really see the stripies really well anymore because now they're kind of hidden by vellum, we're bringing in more stripies, and it just creates a really fun play on the patterns and adds a richness to the card. So right here you have a really awesome card. If you didn't even add anything more to this other than maybe a simple element, you would have a really great card. But we are going to do flowers because of course we're doing flowers today. This is all about the flowers. So let's bring in our Granny Apple and our Granny Apple cardstock, and this is just that little leaf stamp. So we're going to do, oh, I need to get 4 of them on here. I should have not quite been so generous with the space in between some of these. So you do have room to do 4. Please don't leave a lot of room in between, because you really can get 4 on there. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just being crazy with that. All right, now this little piece of paper right here is going to be for your flowers, and we're going to bring in some scrap paper too. And we're going to do our flower stamp. We're going to start with the yellow. We're going to start with Daffodil Delight. I like to start with the lightest color first. And we're taking the background and we're going to stamp off and we're going to stamp on for 2. Ooh, that's very nice. Okay, now we're going to, same color ink, right? We're not switching colors of ink. We're just getting the full color of ink with this nice little back, the 2-step part of it, right? And I'm just bringing that in there, and I'm going to lift this up and show you how cute. It just really pops. You can use the same color just like that. So you're basically able to do that because you've got the 2 different tones. Once you stamp off, it's just a little bit different. I'm going to bring in Pumpkin Pie next. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to kind of repeat this process. So I'm going to stamp off and on, and we're just getting these nice light flowers. And then I'm going to bring in my background one again. And I'm just kind of quickly eyeballing this. I'm not trying to take too much time, but look at how awesome is that, right? Okay, just getting rid of any excess ink on my stamps. And because I'm going from lighter to darker, I'm not cleaning in between. Now, you definitely can. I recommend that you do, but you can get away with it for instances like this, where you're going light to dark. So there are this one is Poppy Parade. So pretty. I love this color. All right. Oh, not stamping off. We're going to do this full. I almost stamped that off. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. And that's how we get our beautiful flowers. Aren't those sweet? Those are just really sweet little flowers. All right. I'm going to move those aside, close up my ink. Now, of course, if you didn't have the magic of TV like I do, you would be die cutting these. And you're going to die cut these 6 times. There's only 1 die, so you're going to run this through your machine 6 times. You're going to run this through your machine 4 times. So it's going to take a little bit of die cutting, but when you're done, you have these beautiful flowers that you're going to work with. And the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to dry fit our leaves down here. We want these to kind of come off the bottom. I don't want them to be matchy-matchy, so when they die cut, they do not come apart. You can trim them apart if you wanted to, but it die cuts kind of as a little 2-pack of leaves here, right? So I'm just going to kind of line them up. Now, of course, they're all the exact same thing, but if you turn them just a little bit differently, they look different, right? They look different here. They don't look like they're all identical leaves. So just like in nature, you want things to kind of be a little bit, you know, kind of free. They don't need to be uniform. Just leaves kind of flowing down here just a little bit. So I'm using this little blue strip that I put in here. That's helping me to have a base to start off of, which is just really helpful. Kind of helps your eye to know, like, okay, these should go like along here, just like so. Now, I could have stamped these leaves on white paper, but I felt like stamping the green on green just makes them look way more realistic than if there was like a lot of white showing. But again, those are all options when you're using this set. Now I have some mini dimensionals somewhere, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip these all upside down real quick, and we're going to put a mini dimensional on the back of each one. So the flowers are actually kind of popped up, which is really fun. I think the big dimensionals also fit, but because they're small and I can just use the small ones, why not, right? All right, we're going to just play with flowers here for a second. We can get the backs off of these. That would be great. All right, and just like before, we're going to kind of make our flowers go into different like facing directions too, or up and down a little bit, right? So they're not like continuously the same as we work our way across. And of course, you don't have to use all of the flowers. I can already tell that this is a much darker flower color than the first one I did. So I'm really happy with that. I'm glad that I re-inked today. What I need to do probably next is take a look to see, oh, maybe I don't want the orange one next. Maybe I want the yellow one next. I I need to see if I need more re-inkers. So during Sale-A-Bration, when you're looking for things maybe to get to a $50 order so that you can get something for free, think about re-inking, because you always want to have that on hand. And you never know which retiring colors, which colors are going to retire, because we are on retiring really soon on some of our colors. So you want to make sure you have all of your supplies and all of your inks so that you can keep stamping. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh, we have to add our bling yet, but I just kind of wanted to show you the difference between the flowers there. I'm thinking about going a little rogue again, because you know how I like to do things differently. So I used the Tahitian Tide on this one, but I think I really want to play with these little really light, oh, maybe this will work better. These tiny little light, maybe not, embellishments, and put green. Oh yeah, the green in the middle. Oh my goodness. I'm loving this already. Let me see if my putty will behave better. One for you, one for you. Oh, no, over here, buddy. There you go. These are fun. Okay, so one more, and then I'm gonna show you up close again. Oh, I like the green. It's almost like a greenish yellow. All right, so here are my embellishments. Just like that. Hopefully you can see the difference in the colors there. But there is card number 2. How sweet is that? Now again, if you don't have this stamp set and the dies, and you don't intend to get the stamp set and the dies, anything across here would be really cute. So you don't have to always have everything that I'm showing you. Of course, if you fall in love, fall in love, look it! That was a really great segue. If you fall in love with the Two-Tone Flora Bundle, you definitely should think about getting it, and then also signing up for my February card maker club, because we're going to be doing some really great things again with this bundle. So let's take a look at our last card together and see. In your kit you're also getting all of these great punched, you're getting some nice gold ribbon, some fancy gold papers to go with our heart. Love these. We've got a couple of sprig, well, I call them sprig, they're leaves, they're from the bow punch. All right, I'm trying to kind of separate these so we have one of everything here so we can work on our card, and I can talk about all the good things that are in it. Okay, we got this, one of these, separating 2 by 2 here. All right, there we go. I have everything separated now. So I also have a card base somewhere, yes? I think I did, and I put it somewhere out of the way. Card base. This is Sweet Sorbet, in case you were wondering. Sweet Sorbet. We're also mixing in some Real Red, and believe it or not, I found I changed up my card a little bit after I designed it, and there's like a better option of this, so I'm going to share that with you as we get going here, because I'm really excited about it. Let's talk about the parts and pieces here. Now in this card I used something a little different. Right, I used the heart 2-pack punch. So you can get you can still get these if you're looking for hearts for Valentine's Day, because the Country Bouquet punch is on back order for so long. It's like end of April. You can still get this 2-pack of heart punches if you don't have it yet. So you've got the scallop punch, and you've got the straight punch, right? So you can use them just like this to layer, which is what we're doing here. This is like a classic Valentine look, right? And I love the bow punch. I use this one almost on everything. I probably overuse it, so I just love the little bow and sprig. I also used, speaking of Country Bouquet, this is where I got the With Love stamp, because I wanted it to not necessarily say Happy Valentine's Day, but I did want it to say With Love or I Love You. So this was a really great stamp set to work with. I know some of you guys have this and you love already, you're loving it. And I did some embossing on this one. I used the Elegant Eucalyptus 3D. So we've got, this is a 2-pack embossing folder. These are the minis. I used this one right here, which kind of looks like a spray. I don't know if you can see it better in the red or the white, but we're going to make this work better so you can really tell what this one is. But you are getting a red one, not a white one. I actually have the white one because I played a little bit with some of this. As I'm designing the cards, I try different color card bases. I change up. I had a white card base, and then a white card base, a red layer, a white layer. I was trying different things as I was creating this beautiful card, and it just amazes me how changing color changes things so much. All right, so I'm bringing in my Sweet Sorbet ink pad because we do have a Sweet Sorbet card base. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to get this beautiful pattern. I hope you can see this on the background here. This beautiful pattern all the way around. We're actually going to bring in the big, I think this is the big one. I'm looking at all my stamps. We're bringing in this really big stamp. The kind of like the background, or not the background, the top. I feel like there's still blue ink on there. The top of this is just going to come like right along outside edges here, just like this. I'm going to pick this up here in a second so you can see what I'm doing. Now right here it looks really kind of weird, right? But bear with this, because when we get done and we put the next layer on, it's like magical, really. So I'm just going all around the outside edges here. I'm not worried about too far in because we have lots of layers that are going to cover over. And if you have to overlap a little bit, you can try to go sideways a little bit. But how cool is this? Just a really cool kind of way to use the stamp besides for the flowers. So I'm going to set that one aside. We're going to bring in our white layer and we're just going to glue this down. Now, one of my favorite things to do here is not have to line things up straight. So this one we're going to put down here at an angle, just a little bit. And once we cover up the middle where we had done our stamping, it just looks really elegant and pretty there in the background. We're also going to bring in the Sweet Sorbet ink, and we're going to make our embossed piece here a little bit prettier. So I'm just going to bring, oh, mini brushes. Are these not the cutest? These are new also. So we're just going to bring in the mini brush because I feel like you have a lot more control when you're using these little mini brushes. And we're just going to sponge on the color here right over everywhere that we embossed. And this is one of my favorite things to do when I do tone on tone embossing in the color, because it's really forgiving. If this was on white paper, you would want to be try to be really careful, like where are we getting all of that ink, right? Because it's going to go beyond the raised levels if you're not careful. But for this instance, it's perfect. You don't have to worry so much. You can just kind of squish it on and go, which is pretty nice. So we're going to put this layer on, and we're going to kind of turn this a little bit this way. Now, if you're a straight layer person, you can definitely get away with straight layers on this card, but it's just really elegant. So I highly recommend, please try to be crooked for once. Like, try to be crooked. Like, sometimes I know we can't help it, but this is like, try to be crooked. You have permission for this card. Look how pretty all of those layers are already. Just gorgeous. All right, let's do a little bit of stamping because we're going to make these really pretty flowers, and I want to show you my upgrade as well. So I'm going to bring in this scrap again, and for this one I used medium, large, and then I used the medium, this one, yes, medium. All right, now I have to think about my colors for just a second here. All right, Sweet Sorbet. We are going to do the two medium flowers in a Sweet Sorbet combo. This is my medium. All right, so we're going to just go ahead and stamp off and then on. That didn't turn out really great, but that's okay because we can bury some of that. And then we got those two. All right, now I'm going to bring in full ink, same color, Sweet Sorbet. I'm actually going to try to eyeball it right through my stamp. Actually, harder to see this time. We're going to go this way. Beautiful. And look at the beautiful color here. It kind of gives you that nice light pinky red color. I love this one very much. This, I think, from looking at the different color combos that I've tried, this one, the Sweet Sorbet, often stamp off and then on, and the Orchid and Starry are like my favorite. All right, we're bringing in real red, and we're bringing back in the medium stamp. And again, we're going to stamp off, and we're going to stamp on. So you can see the difference between stamping off, stamping on. Like, there's a large difference right there. I'm going to just set this to the side. We're going to bring in full ink here. I'm going to turn this, line that up, and pretty, right? So we're getting a combination of kind of pinks to reds. So it's not matchy, but it gives you kind of a more natural look there. And now we're going to bring in the little 4. We haven't used these ones yet, so we're bringing in this little mini 4, and I'm going to do these in red. And so these are dark. This is like a darker image, which you can see on my card is a darker image. But I didn't realize this until I was really playing. This little, also little 4 stamps right here goes right over top. You can line up the center. It might be hard to see, but oh, you know why it's hard to see, Julie? Because you didn't use the right ink. Let's do this again by the magic of, right? Let's start over. Let's pretend that one doesn't exist. We do that sometimes in the craft room. Okay, so we've got the real red, full real red, and then we're bringing in Mary Merlot. That's what we're bringing in. We're bringing in a really dark red. Okay, so we're going to stamp on here. We're going to line these up, little centers, and this little bit of Mary Merlot almost looks black on there, but it adds so much, like magically. So these ones right here with the Mary Merlot in the middle look a lot prettier than these plain red ones, and I wish I had stamped these before. I cannot even possibly get in there. There is one fix that I could do, and I may grab out my Stampin' Right marker and just add little lines, can you believe that I would add little lines in, but I probably will. Add little lines in just by myself so that I can get that look. And the look that I'm actually going for, if I can find my little envelope, after die cutting, here we go. It's just that nice little lined look. So there's some nice little flowers with lines in them. And these are all the pretty red and pink flowers that I've got going on. So this would all be die cut. You're going to die cut this one with the same die. You've got to die for this, and you've got to cut this with the same die. So that's going to go through the machine, you know, just a couple of times, and then you're good to go. And we can finish assembling our card now. So we are going to add on our sprigs first. Again, being the florist, kind of top and bottom, just like this, because we kind of want them to sweep up and around. And I'm going to bring in some tear and tape, and I'm going to hold these down. I'm just going to hold the stems down, actually, because the middle will be covered. No one will know that that's there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my medium flowers. I'm going to kind of add them in here. Let's glue our heart pieces together too. I didn't tell you about this gorgeous little shimmery paper. This is in the paper pack that has fresh freesia and soft succulent. And I used the fresh freesia in the ice cream card. So if it looks a little bit kind of familiar, shimmery paper that's fun, it's in this paper pack. So we've got the gold shimmery, the soft succulent, and then the fresh freesia. So you get 2 sheets of each of those. So that's just kind of really fun. All right, so we're going to come back to this now, figuring out that we really like our flowers here and here. These ones are going to go down flat, top and bottom, top and bottom. Now we're going to add our new and improved mini flowers, because these ones are so much prettier now than the last ones were. Oh man, it makes a big difference. I love when I discover things. Like, I'm kind of mad that I didn't discover it earlier, because it would have made a nicer card, but you know, we live and learn, right? There we go. Yeah, just making sure I like everything where it is. We're going to bring in dimensionals for the back of the heart. Oh, the ribbon. We have to do the ribbon. We can't put the heart down before the ribbon. So you can see that the ribbon is behind. So we're going to just take our ribbon, we're going to put it into thirds, roughly, kind of into thirds. Some tear and tape maybe across the middle here, right about there. I'm trying to do this and hold my ribbon straight too. So here we go. That's coming off. Ribbon's going down. Hopefully I caught enough of it here. Beautiful, right? Nice little swooshy, just like that. So much fun. Now we're going to do some big dimensionals on our heart. And then this is going to go down over top of our ribbon. It's all coming together nicely. I might go a little bit sideways this time. I'm thinking that I'm going to just a little bit, just kind of a little bit like that. Now this one's going to come down right here on the heart also. And I'm going to use tear and tape because we're coming down on a kind of a glimmery paper, which may not hold glue as nicely. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tear and tape down on that and make my flower kind of come down this way. just like that. And then we're going to bring in our little sentiment with love. Somewhere I have a sentiment. Here it is. We're going to do this in real red on this little scrap because I want it to be dark. I want it to be pretty dark, actually. All right, there's our with love. Beautiful. We're going to just snip a little bit here and here. Make it a little bit smaller. Now, of course, I'm giving you a good size paper, so you can absolutely put a longer sentiment on there. I think the Valentine's Day one would fit on there too. There we go. So one side has a dimensional, one side's getting glue. And we're going to just kind of put it down here. And beautiful, right? Just let that sit there for a second. Now we need our gems. Now, of course, the embellishments here. We're going to do the sweet sorbet because we can't really get away with other colors on this one now. That would just, it would not go. So I'm just going to put a couple of them here and here. I'm going to put maybe a darker one up here. Up here. That looks good. Just like so. So 3 of them on there. Oh, what do you think? Doesn't that second stamping on those mini flowers make a huge difference? This one just looks wrong now that I'm looking at it. It is going to need a little TLC. I'm going to have to fix that. But regardless, this is the class for today. You've got the 2 of the red cards with love. So perfect for Valentine's. We still have time for Valentine's Day. Look at the shimmer on those. Oh my goodness, love it. And we've got a couple of cards here that say thanks. Now yours don't have to say thanks. Yours could say happy birthday or what have you. And then we've got these beautiful hello cards. I would love to know which of these cards tonight is your absolute favorite card. There we go. We did it. Let me make sure I'm still here. And yes, okay. I'm looking. Hi, Andrea. Andrea, it's okay that you're late. Thanks, Patty. Patty says the cards are pretty. That's so awesome. Thank you for spending some time with me. Now, I sped it up a little bit tonight. Sometimes I'm on here for an hour, and I feel like it's a really long time to kind of, I mean, I know card making, we all get sucked in, right? So, those are the cards for this week. So again, if you're placing an order with me using my host code, you can get these card kits for free. You're getting 6 card kits for a $35 order, which is a really amazing deal. If you go to 50, you're getting the embellishments as well for free and a Sale-A-Bration item. So that's a really awesome deal also. I really like these cards a lot. Of course, these are focusing on the current in colors that are not retiring. These current in colors will be around for a full another year. And the last few weeks, I've really focused on Fresh Freesia a lot because I'm going to miss that one so much. But that is it for me. So if you have any questions on any of these cards, please let me know. And I will be posting on my blog all this week, talking a little bit about each card individually. I'm going to have some specialty bonus cards that I'm going to share with you. Of course, there's always a color swap on Wednesday on Positive Paper Crafters, so you have to check that out too. And then you get to vote on a favorite color. So that's it for me for today. Thank you so much for spending time with me in the craft room and enjoying this weekly card class from Maine. Until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye, everybody.